Alright, what's going on everybody, it's Liam here and welcome to today's video on the channel. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the raid controversy that was introduced in 2022 going into 2023. But before we get into that, guys, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers for 2024. I'd really appreciate it. I post every day, if not every other day. And yeah, I'd really appreciate it, but let's get right into the video. So obviously around, the halfway mark of 2022, Wiz introduced raids and the new guild system. Now, a lot of the community was actually pretty welcoming of guilds. A lot of players were excited for guilds coming to Wiz, A lot of other MMO RPGs have guilds, and Wiz was a bit late on that regard, but it finally made its way here. And all things considered, I think guilds were a pretty cool addition. As you can see here, we have quite a bit of stuff in our guild house, a lot unlocked. We're missing a couple of things, but it's honestly pretty cool and it's a lot of fun. And it really enhances the community environment Wiz has in the game. However, the raid part is where things get a little bit crazy. And now I made a video about this a couple months ago when raids were pretty new. But now that things have settled down a little bit and I have literally every single piece of raid gear, I put in a lot of time, come up with really good strategies. I have a lot of different raid builds and I have a raid guide even here on the channel. I might make an updated one though, since things changed a bit in the meta for this raid. But my point is, I've done a lot of raids, I have all the gear, and I think I have a pretty good idea and perspective and a take on the new raid system. But more importantly, in a video like this, I want to address the casual players concern, because I hear so many people in my comments, in my streams, in my Discord even. By the way, if you want to join the Discord, that will be in the description below. My crazy ex did nuke my old Discord, so we had to restart that one. Unfortunately, we were 800 members and now we're back down to 400, but thank y'all for the love. But yeah, point is, right, a lot of players want to get into raids, get into guilds, but they have a hard time doing that. Or if they, want to get into it, a lot of players will gatekeep raids in the guild if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't put on a facade like, hey, I can handle this, I can handle the business, you know what I'm saying, man? I can do this, man. But the reality of the situation, people aren't gonna lie, if you're a decent human being, right? And a lot of people just don't know what they're doing. And I think that's because there's not a lot of guides on YouTube for how to do the raid, which again kind of stems into the elitist problem that Wiz has right now. I want to make a whole separate video on that, but I'm not going to get too much into that. But yeah, man, my point here is a lot of people just don't know what to do with raids. They've been around for 4 to 6 months now, I think, something like that. But people still just have no idea how to get into a raid, how to get into a guild, what the heck to do. How are you supposed to get 12 people on at the same time if you're not in a Discord? It's really a lot. So in this video, I want to try to dissect every part of the guild / raid problem and struggles people have been having. Again, keep in mind, I'm not one of the people that, struggled to get into a guild or get into a raid. Obviously I'm a content creator, that I own my guild, stuff like that. But I've read a lot of comments, in my Twitch, in my YouTube, like I said, in the Discord. And this video is to try to address their concerns. Now, first things first, let's start from the basics. How do you get into a guild? Well, you go to the commons, or not the commons, you go to Old Town. And they added a guild kiosk here. Now, I believe guilds are not actually put in by default. I would have to choose to submit my guild into the kiosk via somewhere in this tab. I don't freaking know where, honestly, but it would be somewhere here. But yeah, first things first, the guild members or the guild leader would have to put their guild into the guild kiosk that you see right here, social kiosk right here in Old Town by Cyclops Lane. And then if you go here, obviously click on guilds, and there's different types: questing, dungeons, which I think is basically raids, Beast Moon, PvP, derby, pets, housing, etc. Now, there's honestly not a lot of guilds in here, I'm gonna say. There's a housing one, hanging out one, stuff like that, but I feel like most of the people that want to do raids want to do it because, PvP Or, you know, you might want that Melody robe for PvE because it's so freaking good. But as you can see, like, you go to dungeons, which I assume is raids, there's literally nothing. And I think this is a problem because people who own the guild just are not very welcoming of newer people. They don't want to deal with getting all that Azoth, getting all that Sarathax, and then just throwing a key out and hardly winning because somebody is new. So my point is here, I feel like a lot of people are not incentivized to even put their guild up for grabs here in the kiosk. I know a lot of my other friends' guilds, even, you know, PvP, non-PvP, stuff like that. A lot of the familiar guilds I see, they're not even in here. I maybe recognize 1 or 2 of these guilds, and that's kind of bad considering there's a whole game of guilds, you know? Like, a lot of people just don't even put their guild up in here because, you know, why would you, you know? You don't want to have, you know, random people joining and potentially ruining your run. So I completely understand that. But yeah, that's how you, like, get into a guild. And again, it's not very efficient if you want to do raids, unfortunately. The best way to get into a raid is still probably to just, like, hit up a content creator and ask to join their guild. But I know a lot of people are kind of settling down with their guilds right now. I'm not going to name names, I never do in these types of videos, but a lot of people already got their 50 people locked in. And honestly, myself, I'm thinking once I find a way to lock 50 people in, I might make a backup guild to get more players into guilds, because my guild is already very welcoming of new people. I typically take about 4 new people per raid run, so we have like 8 people who know what they're doing and 4 new people. So that's typically what I do. But I know a lot of other guilds just don't take any new people at all, or maybe 1 at max. And it's really sad to see. So yeah, that is how you get into a guild. And the problem of, you know, guild leaders not wanting to put their guild in the guild kiosk, right? That is the 2 things right there. Now, the second part, once you're in a guild, you have to get a ton, and I mean a ton, of Azoth. Now, there's a lot of ways to get Azoth. Obviously, you can farm gold keys like I do. You can do the raid itself as well, or you can farm like Croc rematches, Jade Oni rematches that are in the arena. We all know how to get that Azoth, right? Now, if you have 50 people working together, on paper, it shouldn't take that long to get this together. But in practice, I feel like it's maybe 4 to 8 people that do all the heavy lifting in an entire guild. I know my guild, I can name maybe 8 people that contributed to opening, like, you know, 70% of the things we have unlocked right now. The point is, the Azoth is just very, very difficult to get, and you need like 1400 just to unlock the raid island itself. And once you're here, I believe this gate is free, but then the other 2 are, they cost like an arm and a leg to unlock the other 2. It's absolutely insane. So I think the next issue here is the, I don't know if I want to say the inaccessibility to Azoth, but I think maybe how they implemented Azoth is wrong. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like players don't even know what Azoth is, and they don't know, like, I just feel like if that, what's she called? The blue person in the commons, the wheelchair lady, I believe, if she had something to talk about Azoth and where to get Azoth, like go here, to get Azoth, I think that would be really cool. Also, I think I just assumed their gender, so I apologize for that. But yeah, this person right here, obviously, you know, they have the Azoth quest here, but I think the issue with this is you don't get to know where to get the Azoth, right? Like, if you don't have a YouTube guide to tell you to farm gold keys or to farm Croc rematches, you're gonna have a hard time getting this Azoth, right? Now, it does drop a couple in the new world of Novus, which is pretty cool, and I appreciate that, but again, it's literally nothing, and it's not always a drop in the new world. So honestly, I think maybe just the rates that Azoth drop is just too low for like the Croc rematches and stuff like that, or there's just not enough ways to get the Azoth. And again, they added this in Novus, another way to get it, which I do appreciate, but I think it's just not enough drops, and the places it does drop, it's just not enough of a drop rate. The only good way to get Azoth, in my opinion, is by doing the raid and collecting 12 players Azoth and putting that all into the guild. I think that is the only efficient way to get the Azoth, basically. So yeah, that was a long point, and I apologize for that, but I think Azoth accessibility is a whole another issue, and especially when you're trying to make that raid key as well, people will be like, you can't join unless you have 100 Azoth to contribute to the raid key, or 50, or whatever number they contribute that to, right? Next thing I want to talk about is the raid key itself. Crafting this raid key is annoying. After you get 1440 Azoth to unlock the battle island, you have to craft the raid key, which is, I believe, 625 Azoth and 10 Zarathax TC. Now, if you're somebody like me who doesn't do Monstrology, you have to like go and do all the Monstrology quests and like grind that out. It only took me like an hour or two, I think, to get that done, but still a little bit tedious for me as a player. But you just go over here to the kiosk, right click in the top right. There, the raid key, as you can see, Zarathax, you just put the dragon enchant in and defeat Zarathax a couple of times, and you'll get this for the raid key, which isn't the hard part. Just takes a bit of time, maybe half an hour. But the Azoth is obviously a lot, and I think it's very restrictive, and I feel like if the key wasn't as expensive, players would be a lot more welcoming for new people in the raid, right? Or, you know, the 7-day cooldown, I haven't even gotten to that yet, you know? I just feel like if you want to do a raid, the key is too expensive, and having the 7-day, 6-day cooldown on the portal is very punishing, and it makes guild members and guild leaders not want to introduce new people into their guild, because if I spend all my time farming this Azoth and doing this raid, and we get nothing out of it, and I have to craft a whole another key for next week, right? And this, I can't raid again for, you know, like six days or a couple of days. I just feel punished, and I don't feel incentivized to invite new people into my guild, which I think is a serious issue. So I think it's just a design error on KingsIsle's part, in my opinion. I think the raid difficulty itself honestly isn't that bad. I can do, you know, 6 out of 6, 7 out of 7 runs pretty consistently now. I think a lot of guilds can if you have a lot of good members. I know actually last week, I think we got 6 out of 7 runs done with 3 or 4 new players on the team, which again, it's the difficulty isn't bad. You just have to explain what to do for the new people. And if you guys do want a new, you know, raid updated guide on the channel, just let me know, because a couple of things have changed, and I think I can make a little bit more of a descriptive, you know, guide for you guys here on the channel. But yeah, I think the difficulty of the raid is fine. I just think the, you know, gathering the stuff, the key it needed, I think being punished if you don't succeed as well is really hard. I think the 12 people, trying to get them all on at the same time is a problem as well. It really incentivizes players to use like Discord and stuff like that, even if they're not comfortable. Now, this isn't always the case. I've seen other non-Discord guilds obviously do the raid just fine, but it's way easier, and it's like the easy way. That what's it called? The short road or something like that. The long road and the short road. The easy way is just to do Discord, obviously, but players are going to be always incentivized to take the short way rather than just do it in-game, which I think is also a problem. So what I think KingsIsle could really improve upon is probably the in-game, like, date system, because it's hard to gather 12 people, and then if somebody has to go and has something come up, you don't know that, and then if nobody else is on, it's like you kind of just screwed over those 10 or 11 other people that were ready. So it's kind of a tricky thing. I think that's honestly because KingsIsle set the bar so high. 12 people is a lot. Other MMO RPGs have maybe 6 or 8 for, you know, a raid. I tried recommending 6 or 8, but they wanted to do 12 or 10 or whatever, which again, I think is too high in my opinion. Too much players, too much stuff that could go wrong. So I think KingsIsle kind of shot themselves in the foot with that one personally, but I really think they could add a better way to try to get more people organized via the guild tab. Now, at this point, this video is probably kind of everywhere, and I apologize for that, but it really is just a lot to take in. It really is. I can't really sugarcoat it. But I think, you know, a lot of this stuff combined is just a huge issue. I think making the drop rates a bit better with the void and nullity guaranteed piece every run was pretty good. However, I know a lot of people that have been raiding for 4 months now and still haven't gotten that one piece they want. So again, I think that's just a design flaw with the King Style system. If I'm putting 4 months of raids into my time and I'm not getting the piece I want, I'm looking at Cheer Val X here. She's been trying to get that Storm Melody Robe for months. She's been grinding like every week or every couple of days even, because I think they have multiple portals open, and she still doesn't have it, you know? You could also look at this as novice farming. You put 50 hours in, and you don't get the piece you're going for. I think that philosophy could change, and I'd love to see that, you know, King's Isle maybe test something new only in raids, right, for the minority to see if players like it, and then potentially welcome that into the bigger casual audience if it's welcomed, for example. But yeah, I hope I covered everything in today's video. If I didn't, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to pin that. I hope you guys did enjoy. Again, be sure to leave a like, rating, and subscribe. I do post pretty consistently. I'd appreciate it. Also, I'm probably going to get into YouTube Shorts. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments below. I think I figured out how to make it work. I haven't been posting it, honestly, because I just can't figure out how to make it work. But I think I do have it down now, which is pretty cool. I have a couple of ideas, and I will see how that goes. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get out of here. I am losing my voice. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.